This is Marcus Corval with Studio MMA and MMA Nuts, and we're here with the main event for Friday night, not Saturday night, Friday night. Melvin Guillard, how you feeling?
I feel great, man. I feel good. I feel at ease. You know, I'm just relaxed, just kind of going through these days, getting them done, and hopefully just be patient. You know, when the fight time comes.
You were talking about it earlier that we're not seeing the regular energetic bunny jumping around. Melvin, you're saving the energy for Friday. Does that come with maturity?
Yeah, I think it comes with maturity, but I think it also comes with you know, last few fights, even before the Lozon fight. You know, I'm really big into like making sure the fans are happy, and you know, I do signings at the expos even when I fight, and it never bothers me. It doesn't bother me, but you know, going into a fight like this against Jim Miller, I want to conserve all my energy and every ounce of energy I have to put into beating Jim Miller on Friday.
And you've been in the game for a long time, not just the gaming for a long time. You've been in the UFC for a long time, and you're back training with Rashad Evans, who you were training with before, but you're now down black belt. How different has the training been in this training camp, training in a different camp?
The training camps, this honestly was probably the toughest training camp I've had in a very long time. There were many nights I went home banged up, bruised, and ice packs every night. I took ice baths twice a week. So it was a very, very tough training camp. But, you know, I endured a lot of pain in camp, so I don't have to worry about that for the fight on Friday.
Talking about Rashad Evans, you guys were on the Ultimate Fighter 2, long time ago. And looking at where the sport is today, from where it came from when you were on the Season 2 Ultimate Fighter, did you foresee this?
Not really, man. I mean, I've always thought myself that I would be the last man standing. You know, I never wish anything bad on any of my alumni from that season. You know, all those guys are great fighters. You know, me and Joe Stevenson are great friends. We're like brothers. But you know, it's humbling sometimes to look back on a lot of the guys that they picked to be big stars in this organization, and to see them fall, and some of them, most of all of them lose their jobs, and now they're fighting other places. And just to see me and Rashad, the last two standing, the only two black guys on the show, and Matt Hughes didn't want either one of us. You know, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, I look back and I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, man, we already won. You know, we've been this successful, and we're still up there in the top elite. You know, both of us. You know, Rashad hopefully soon will be fighting for the title, and hopefully I will. And you know, I was just talking to Rashad the other night at his house when he was cutting my hair, and I was like,
wait, he was cutting your hair for this fight?
Yeah, he actually cut my hair.
You trust him with the scissors?
Well, he cut my hair on the show too, man, and people didn't realize that, but he was the reason I started wearing blonde hair, because I cut my hair and then we were gonna dye it red, and when we dyed, we bleached it so we could put the red in. He was like, man, the bleach looked good. And I looked in the mirror, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this. And it's crazy how like the life circle comes back around. But he was cutting my hair the other night, and I was like, would it be crazy if we both ended up with the title at the same time? You know, it'd be a pretty good story, you know?
Absolutely. It's been, what, almost 6 years by now,
yeah,
right?
Well, almost 7. About 05, what we in 12? Well, yeah, about 6 years.
I was wondering about the hair. It's not blonde yet. Will it be blonde by Friday?
Yeah, it'll be blonde right after I leave here. I do my first weight cut tonight, and then I'll get up in the morning and finish, and then I'll be ready. I'll be ready to go come weigh-ins.
And again, talking about how much it's grown, being on Fox, we had one of the football players there. I'm from Europe, mate. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the football. What was his name again?
I forget his name too.
So I'm not so bad, am I?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you put me on the spot right there. That's not cool.
But you got big names in American football, that you know, in the heart of American football, so to speak, here in Nashville, coming out, and you know, you're signing gloves for him. How does that feel?
It feels great, man, to see how big the UFC's grown. It's crazy you say that, because I was watching football last weekend when I was watching the Saints play, and of course they lost to San Francisco, unfortunately. But I was watching a commercial, and they showed the UFC commercial, and it had the Fox NFL's music to it, and I was like tripping out, like, man, who would have thought it'll come this far, you know, to see the UFC, you know, kind of tied in with football, which is America's sport, And you know, when you watch, everybody's watching football, everybody. So if people are seeing football, of course they're seeing UFC now, because they, you know, and the more you walk around now, everybody know about the UFC. I remember back even when I was just on season 2 Ultimate Fighter, people didn't even know who we were, and we had already had like maybe 2 or 3 fights in the UFC. People, you know, you'll walk by somebody and one person will recognize you, and then somebody be like, well, who's that guy? What's the UFC? Now it's like one person recognizes you, everybody comes over. You know what I mean? So it's amazing to see how big this business has grown.
You enjoying it?
I'm loving it, man. And, you know, I get to grow and mature along with the job, and that's kind of why you guys see me in this aspect now instead of the wild guy running around crazy. But, you know, when you're talking about Fox and FX and big networks like that, you have to carry yourself in a different manner, a very professional manner, because now you never know who's looking. You don't know what company wants you to fight on their broadcast. And, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes those people have a big influence on, you know, letting Dana know, hey, man, can we get this guy on this card for Fox, you know? And I want to be known as one of those guys that they can always depend on.
Have the UFC specifically come to you and spoke to you about, to not just you, but fighters in general? Okay, guys, it's a step up. It's time to wear a shirt and tie, or
No,
you know, about how to behave and
no,
be around fans.
They didn't come to us individually, but you know, I have a great management company, Authentic Sports, with Glenn Robinson. Jim Wink is our PR, head PR, and she used to work for the UFC, so she knows what the UFC expects. And you know, at the end of the day, man, it feels, you know, when you dress clean, you look clean, you walk, you feel great, you know, you just feel good about yourself, you know, and something as small as how you get dressed and how you walk around can affect you, you know, like if you walk around looking and feeling like crap, you can perform like crap. So, you know, it's no different from football players and basketball players, you know, when they get ready to go to a game, it's shirt and tie, suit and tie, something formal, you know. That's, I mean, at this point in my life, I feel the UFC is equal to basketball and football. And if those guys are professional and they have to leave and they have to wear a tie and shirt, why shouldn't we?
It shows that you think a lot. You talking about earlier on in the interview there about Muhammad Ali, watching his career, from just talking to you, like how your outlook on life. A lot of people might not know you were stuck during Hurricane Katrina on a bridge for 3 days.
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, 7
Talk
days.
to us a little bit more about that.
I mean, you know, it was a tragic accident, unfortunately. The whole town went underwater. I got to see people live. I've seen some people die, unfortunately. But, you know, it's just a life experience that...
Did it change you as a person?
It changed me as a person, you know, and then a year later I lose my dad. So, you know, a lot of things happened. You know, it changed me in a bad way for a while, and then it recently started working for me in a positive way to where, you know, I can't stress about the bad things that happen, because unfortunately in life, good and bad things happen. That's just the nature of life. But it's great to see that the city is, you know, somewhat back to normal, and people are actually going back. And I hope to move back home one day as well.
Man, we're looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see more of you in the future.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, mate.